Who is feeling distrustful of government, media, larger systems in the world? And how much anxiety are you actually feeling because of it? We'll be looking at this and how to create empowerment at an individual and collective level at a time with such corruption being revealed. We'll look at this and much more today on Our Waking Dream. Welcome, I am Coco Swanson. And on this show, each week, I bring up an astrology theme, ideally in a way that's beginner friendly. So let me know how I'm going with that. And I explain it in a way that we can embody. So we can not only understand what's going on, but also know how much authorship, how we can create authorship and power within it. So this said, let me talk a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes because I have more offerings. There's a free solutions lab every other Sunday. The next one is in an hour or less than an hour now at noon Pacific time. Every other Sunday, Solutions Lab. You can sign up to receive an invite in my newsletter. There's links below. And also, I have a leadership studio. Reframe leadership. Leadership for me is anyone with a body, a mind, and a heart. And it's looking at how it's astrology is implicit. It's baked into the leadership studio, but every other week, I offer a live class, and then I supplement it with meditations, journal practices, and somatic exercises. And then we work in community. It's just started. We had our first session and it was phenomenal. So more information on that below. There's lots of different ways to become involved in Coco Land if you want to. So the invite is for you. And today we are talking about Pluto in Aquarius. Each time I talk about astrology, I try to explain the metaphor of the planet and what it does. Because astrology is a language of metaphors and it's a living language. It's about what's going on right now in the cosmos and how, if we were to look at your own individual chart, it's how that impacts your mind, your body, your life. Yet on this show, we talk about how it affects all of us and tools that we can all embody to create change. And so Pluto's known as the great dismantler. It brings about an exposure of corruption. It does so we can expose the shadow of whatever sign it's in. So that's the second part. Pluto is in Aquarius. And so therefore it exposes the corruption of whatever the patterns are within Aquarius. And then it dismantles things. And it's ruthless. It's like a wrecking ball. It comes through and it just blows down anything that's corrupt over the 20-year cycle, 20 years that it's in each zodiac. So it is in Aquarius. Pluto is in Aquarius until 2044. So we're just at the beginning still of a long transit. And so if we're in the beginning of a long transit, it's still in the exposure of corruption and the dismantling of corruption. And what is our power within exposure and dismantling? It's very different than what our power is within the spring growth or the newness. Pluto brings about full exposure of our skeletons at a collective and personal level of the themes within Aquarius. After they're exposed, dismantled, then it demands the death and the inevitable rebirth. It happens inevitably once we let go of what is outdated, an idea, a system, anything that's a relationship that's outdated. Once we truly let go and realign, we are available to receive new ideas and new experiences that are much more alignment with who we're becoming. Aquarius, let's talk about Aquarius themes. Aquarius governs ethics. It governs the agreed upon systems of society. It governs network thinking. It's about government leadership, how we are creating the infrastructure on planet Earth to support all life, or to not support all life in this case. It's the future. It's the galaxy. It's if what we're creating is in alignment with universal truth. That's Aquarius. So Pluto in this 20-year transit is exposing what systems that we lean into at a collective level, what systems are corrupt. We're seeing that everywhere. Think about the level of corruption going on the planet and how aware we are of it now. One little doom scroll, and I could name about 15 corrupt patterns that we're experiencing at a collective level. So it's government, media, education, leadership, and it's about simple one-on-one community agreements. How I am with you in particular, and where our ethics are no longer in alignment, and how we need to reconsider our own ethics and create different configurations of people to allow for our true ethics to govern our societal norms. So, part of what we're feeling right now, if you're feeling any anxiety, if you're feeling confusion and fear, is not just what's going on at a personal level. It's what is going on when we can no longer rely on and trust that the systems that are meant to support society are doing so. When we can't trust the systems of society, that doesn't bode well for our bodies, because our bodies need to trust in the societal norms. So there's a level of dis-ease within us all if we peel back the layers and really look at how it feels to be governed within a fascist state, within governments that would have anything remotely like Epstein files. No, governed by people that might be involved in human trafficking, or that wouldn't consider the good of the planet or education, or folks that don't have a voice. We've got a lot to look at in this 20-year cycle. And the first part is divine discontent. When areas of our lives and the world are revealed and corruption becomes overt in systems that are much larger than us, it's very easy to feel disempowered. So we'll be talking about that and how to empower yourself to become a more clear and strong agent of change. Practice number 1 I always suggest in this course is about inquiry. Simply starting to ask questions. How's your level of distrust in the government, in global government, in societal norms, in media, in other large institutions? How is your level of distrust? Because this is about you. And what level of anxiety and fear is that causing you right now? How do you hold it in your body? Are you exhausted living in a world that feels ethically off? And what discrepancies of ethics are being revealed in your own personal world? Between the relationships you've had in business, in romance, in friendship, and especially in the last year, because we had Pluto enter Aquarius and then it moved backwards and now it's moving forward. And so during the winter, when it was moving backwards, there might have been some exposure within your own life of ethics that are misaligned and that could be some deal breakers. Primarily asking these questions starts to shift the dial on your awareness and your integration of the medicine that Pluto has to offer. Practice number 2. Are you feeling heartsick? Looking at the ethics of the leaders of the world. And if so, would you like to increase your power to create change within the systems that feel so much larger than us? Our systems are a reflection of us individually. What I focus on grows. So if I'm focused on some corrupt system and how I just get irritated, sad, confused, frustrated, don't know what to do. If I stay within the irritation, frustration, the fear, I am creating more irritation, frustration, and fear. I am not an agent of change because what I focus on grows. So if I'm doom looping and I keep my focus on the doom, I help repeat the doom. What I suggest is not about bypassing the feelings. It's about embracing the feelings, embracing the dystopia of Earth and the leadership of Earth right now, the governmental leadership that is not meant to pass the test of time. If I highlight that which really, really irritates me and scares me at a collective level, societal level, that becomes the material that I get to work with somatically or through art. I'll explain this. And through that working, I dismantle the energy. I dismantle my piece of the puzzle, and I can shift out of the despair, the confusion, and simply embody a mantra like, I am an agent of change. I'm open to change. I align with universal truth. Yeah. And then I nod with that and say, yes, 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 yes. Okay, so let's simplify this. If you're feeling heartsick from the state of the world, in particular, how our leaders are governing us and how they are not looking out for the good of all. If you're feeling disenchanted and disgusted by the leadership, governments, what's going on with media, any collective system, and you want to become an agent of change within it, I suggest step 1, identify the problem that gets you the most fired up. For instance, for me, human trafficking. It's just not okay. Not okay on the planet. That just gets me going. 2, the treatment of animals. This is for me. What big system really saddens you, depresses you? That's the material you want to move. So bring that up. And you bring it up for step 2, which is to feel. It's to spend a few moments focusing on it. If focusing on it brings about too many emotions for you to work with at once, enlist a buddy. Share this with a buddy. Do it together because it's scary sometimes to feel the feels. So you spend a few minutes focusing on what really, really saddens you, brings anxiety. And when you're bringing it up, honestly, you're bringing up the emotions because step 3 works with emotions, and emotions are exceptionally powerful. When we release icky emotions and align with fantastic emotions, we're more able to find solution. We have more neuroplasticity. So you identify the problem that really bothers you in the world, the corrupt system. You think about it enough to get those emotions going, and then choose. You're going to move it either through your body, your breath. I mean, it could be either end. through art, writing. We want to move it in a way that's authentic, which is very Aquarian. Zany, just yours, that's Aquarian. And somatic, we want to move it at a somatic level. So step one is to identify the system at a global level, governmental or media or you name it, educational system that feels corrupt. Step two, you focus on it until you get the emotions moving. You want to get the emotions, get fired up. Step three is you either exhale it, play. You play with exhale, play with sound and exhalation, play with shaking it out, play with dance partying it out. You play, you might turn tunes on, you might do this with a buddy. We play, moving the energy out. What does it feel like to move the energy? Or if you're more drawn to art, what does it feel like to doodle it or to write it out? And then you deliberately move it out. If you're creating an art project, a little piece of paper where you're just drawing like governmental systems, like any time that we wouldn't look out for the good of the whole, or whatever it is that gets you fired up about what's not ethical going on in the world. After you draw it, then you destroy it. After you bring it up and emotionally, then you shake it out. We need to transform it so that we can employ the following mantras. It is, I am open to change. I am open to receive miracles. I align with universal truth. And you soften your belly, soften your breath, and allow your nervous system to come into the possibility of solution. That's it. You become an agent of change in that moment. We become agents of change when we can accept what is, no matter how horrific, feel the emotions associated with it, release the emotions associated with it through movement, through breath, through art, and then to name our availability to change, miracles, and to align with universal truth. That inner alignment brings about new thoughts, new networks, new connections, and it's each one of us individually that creates society. Practice number 3 is about ethical discernment without demonization. Have any of you become aware of relationships that are no longer ethically aligned in the last, say, 6 months? If so, that could be a sign of Pluto in Aquarius hitting you at the personal level. What do we do about that? To me, when my ethics with somebody else, like if I'm in a business relationship or a friendship with somebody and all of a sudden something they're doing feels so gross and so unethical, that's a sign for me to step away for a minute and have the arrow, the flashlight go in rather than me looking at them and all the things they're doing wrong, which is what we naturally do. We can use ethical incongruencies in our relationships personally and in business as a tool to help us review our own ethics, to change, to reclaim, and to align with relationships that reflect our current ethics. How? How do we do that? Well, have you realized that someone in your life, a relationship in your life, or maybe many, maybe they aren't in alignment with your ethics anymore? First, illuminate the pattern. And oftentimes the pattern's contained in shadow. It's contained in my perception of you externally, whoever you are that I had the conflict with. One, identify what the conflict was and distill the theme. What are the ethics? You know, if you think they're acting wrong, in what ways? Then point it back in. Use the charge to guide reflection. What are they doing wrong, in quotes? You know, like who's to say what's wrong and right? But what do you think that person's doing wrong? Well, are you doing the same thing? It's the first question. and isn't in alignment with your values? Do you need more integrity? Do I need to act with more integrity? Oftentimes, our judgment simply points back to something within ourselves that needs to be reconciled and shifted. After that, I suggest simple mantra. I release all judgment. And then you feel it. What does it feel like to release judgment? I release this relationship in its current form. What does it feel like to release the relationship? I allow my ethics to change. What does that feel like when you say it? Every time I say a mantra, I come back into this sensation of it because I'm in my body. I need to feel the mantra in order to embody it. And the fourth mantra within this is I align with people who mirror my ethics. I align with people who mirror my ethics. This becomes a micro break. Anytime you're in a relationship and their ethics feel corrupt, something they did doesn't feel right to you, a power move is to stop. Take the judgment from the external judgment, have it be a flashlight internal. Explore your own ethics. Where am I acting out of integrity? Then release the current form. I let go of this relationship, even if it's hard, and I release all judgment. I release this form. I allow my ethics to change. And I align with community that reflects my current ethics. It's a micro break. Every time we take a micro break and create a mind shift, every time that creates a life shift. Over time, the whole life starts to change. Okay. Thank you for being a part of this growing community. That brings us to the end of this episode. Always, please comment. Give me feedback. How can I improve what I'm offering? And if you love it, like, share, give it wings, etc. I'll see you next week. Until then, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being a part of our community here at Our Waking Dream. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Fill my cup and let it overflow. Let it overflow with love.